everyone, welcome back to the MADLife. Today is a really fun video because this is something I have held on to like my whole life, all of my acting stuff, modeling stuff, and I've saved everything, but I don't even know what I'm saving it for. So maybe I'm saving it for this video because one day I was gonna talk about it. And I grew up in the industry my entire life since 4 years old, acting, modeling, and it was everything to me. Like when I look back at my childhood, I'm like, that meant the world to me. And so that's kind of why I have my family still in entertainment. I kind of want to still do it, but I've had so many kids, I've kind of stopped. But I have the girls doing it now and I help them with their weekly acting classes. I used to teach acting classes, so I give them all the skills. And I just look back at this stuff and I think like, wow, this was really cool. I pulled up a few of my old movies and TV shows that I was in. I couldn't find all the commercials and everything, but I have a few of them here. I have my old portfolio from when I was little. Some of the things my mom saved from catalogs, boxes, Barbie boxes, Disney catalogs, Land's End, all kinds of things. Limited to, this is Plum Pudding, Land's End. I wanted to tell stories about them and my experiences. I have my acting binder here. It's huge. This isn't even half of the scripts that I've memorized. I just auditions, like every day memorizing lines, acting classes, coaching sessions, just my whole life. Sitting in the car in LA working on lines and coaching with every coach in LA. I just loved this kind of stuff. So let's play some of it. I want to react. I haven't seen these videos in forever. I haven't looked at these photos in forever, or even what's in my binder. So I kind of just want to go through it with you guys. So here's an old TV show that I was on, Lincoln Heights. This was like this wasn't the first job I did for acting, but this was like my first like TV show that played on, was it NBC, ABC? I'm not sure, but I remember the night that it came out, I was in high school and I was so excited like that my episode was airing. So let's watch it. I played the mean girl.
No, I can't score you a little something. What's your problem? I don't do that.
Fine. You don't have to get all aggro.
Oh my god, you guys. This is why I don't like watching this kind of stuff.
So,
because it's so
basketball
awkward.
and dope, that's all I'm good for?
Oh, I said, oh, are you Lizzie, the baller from the Heights? Or something like that at the lunch table. And the girl who did it with me, it was so funny. The girl that was in the scene with me actually is also in my modeling job with me. Isn't that crazy? We used to model together and then she was also in my scene on Lincoln Heights. So that was really fun. I loved filming that one. My favorite all-time acting role, I would say, was when I booked the Without a Paddle role. I remember the Without a Paddle Nature's Calling. I went to the audition and after I came out of the room, they're like, oh my gosh, she needs to stay. Have her stay in the waiting room till all the other girls leave because we need her to meet with the director like right now and the producer because that's how in love they were with me. And I was like, this is so cool. I went in the room, did it for them. They booked me like that night. And I flew to Oregon and shot it with my mom. I remember I just thought it was so cool. So that was my favorite acting role I ever had. That was Without a Paddle, Nature's Calling. I played like the young Madison Riley in that movie. Oh man, like this one too. I'm like, why? It's so awkward.
Rats have rights too. Please just sign here. Rats have rights too. Just sign
That's
here.
That's cute.
I'll sign.
I was so young in this one too. I look like
I'm Heather.
12.
And you are?
Heather.
Sometimes I wonder if I'm trying to do like a special voice in this one.
Right. Well, here's the petition.
Yeah, dissections are terrible.
Oh my God.
Especially for...
It's like,
rats
have rights, free them rats.
Awesome. It's really cool to meet someone who's also into not killing animals. Like sometimes, I'm afraid to tell people that I'm the V word.
Virgin?
Well, I meant vegetarian.
I heard it from the other room. That's my favorite scene ever.
Oh, you did a great thing here, Ben Reed.
Save the rats!
Oh,
Save the rats!
Don't forget the part afterwards where I walk up to him in the principal's office and I don't know how to show you that part, but I like do this like slow motion like kiss blow. Why? Oh, and then I get expelled from school in this movie and I'm like, don't expel me, rats have rights, free the rats. I'm like, okay, cool. So I was like hippie girl in that one. That was fun. Oh, one of the movies that I never booked that I was down to me and one other girl for it was Blue Crush 2. And the Bethany Hamilton movie where so I'm always like up for the surfer roles. I think it was like my curly blonde hair, but I was both of those movies. Blue Crush 2 and Soul Surfer were like the two that I was like almost down to the last ones for. I also auditioned for Hannah Montana way back in the day, which I was just thinking about. That one was fun. When I moved up to Utah, one of the directors, the one that actually directed that movie, also directed another movie called The Last Straw. That one's like a Christmas Hallmark type film. So I'll show you a little episode from that. Here's The Last Straw. Me being a troubled teen, showing up to my uncle's house.
I can't believe my family actually abandoned me here while they're out having fun in the sun.
Well, it's only 2 weeks.
That's an eternity without my car.
I guess it wouldn't be much of a punishment if you could come and go as you please, huh?
You know, I didn't do anything anybody else isn't already doing.
Doesn't make it right, though, does it? Come on. I'll bring the rest.
And then I meet these cute little kids. Do you guys remember the Ninja Kids? If you guys know the Ninja Kids on YouTube, that's played my younger cousin in this movie. Which you'll see.
Hey, we're so glad you're here, sweetie.
Yeah,
There he is.
I guess.
How long are you staying anyway?
A couple of weeks, I don't know.
Is there anything I can do to help you get back home sooner?
Hey, stop that.
I am so glad you're here.
Oh.
Yay, Jordan's having a sleepover.
Oh my gosh.
Let the fun begin. You're going to be staying in my room.
It's so weird to think that I didn't have kids at this age and that my girls are the age of her now. Like I was playing like their older cousin and now I'm like a mom of the kids that age. So if I were to get back into acting, would I play the mom roles or would I play still like a role where I don't have kids yet, like 19-year-old, 20-year-old? No, I can't play 19. I could probably play a college student though, maybe. I don't know. Or would I play mom roles now? Oh my gosh, it's so weird to think about. Maybe I'd go out for mom roles. That would actually be good because I feel like I could really dive into like a mom like emotion of like having a kid, and I thought it would be really cool. Here's what I filmed when I was like 14 called The Metrosexual. I actually don't have the full movie here, but this was just 1 second of it when I was in the trailer. So here's that.
Nice costumes, but what's the wolf doing with a hooker?
She's Little Red Riding Hood, Dad.
Oh, okay, that movie was kind of bad. I think that's why I never saw it. I think I was in this movie, but it was actually like rated R or something. My mom never even brought me to see it because I was 14. So I actually don't even know what the movie's about. But it doesn't look like it'd be a very good kid-friendly. But that was a fun one. I think that was only fun because it's the first time I ever was on a set for an actual movie. When I was like really young. So here's like a really cool story. When I was really young, I did mostly modeling and commercials, and I told my mom that I really wanted to be an actress. And I think I was about 11 when I figured that out, and I was like begging her to put me in acting, and she was saying how it was gonna be a big sacrifice because the whole family, you know, sacrifices this because she has to drive me up to LA every day. We didn't live close to LA. So I got with my agent and I went to my acting coach, and she's like, there is this manager. He's like next level. He represents like Hilary Swank. He only had like 5 people he represented, and she's like, if you can get in with Ken Jacobson was his name, your career would just take off. And so at the time, you send in like a little tape. So I put myself on tape and sent him a CD with a headshot. I think I actually have the headshot in here. I sent him a CD with this headshot right here. And I just wrote him a note and I said, it is my dream to be an actress, and if there's any way you could represent me, it would be like my entire dream. And I got a call back from him that he wanted to meet with me, and my acting coach was like, Madison, this doesn't happen. Like, I've had so many of my students send in their stuff, like he does not respond to people, like this is huge. So I went and met with him, and I remember the meeting was like, if you really focus and give your all, like you will be like a household star name, like top actress in the next like 10 years. Like he's like, or even 5 years. He's like, I have every connection. And what was happening was at the same time all of that was happening, when he would send me on auditions, we kept turning them down because it's kind of crazy, but you know, Hollywood is not the best for kids. And I was at this age where he kept sending me on stuff that was like really bad, raunchy roles. And my mom had to keep turning them down because we're a very conservative family. So every time I would get these roles where I had to play like this sexy girl or have to say words I didn't want to say or whatever, or bad scenarios, my mom would turn it down. She's like, nope, she's not doing it. Well, he got so frustrated that I was turning so much stuff down. And then I remember even going in and doing like this scene that was like very raunchy, and I didn't feel good about it. And after I turned down the last one, he dropped me, and he's like, if you can't play the sexy role, you're not gonna make it in Hollywood. And I was like, what? You're right. So I kind of learned that, like, no, you can make it. You just have to keep going with it. I guarantee you, like, if I wouldn't have stopped, like, I could have done more, but there's that side of it too, and that's why I have backbone, and I'm kind of doing the same thing nowadays. Like, as we go into this entertainment world, like, we have our goggles on, our conservative goggles a little bit. But anywho, I found ways to like be an actress and be in really good roles. And I think that's why my mom always was like, we always would go out for a lot of Disney, Nickelodeon, because you just know that like those are gonna be like really good roles, or for TV shows like that are good. So there's so many shows out there. I was almost up for Riverdale. Like there's shows like that are so good that I was so close to. So here's all my acting scenes. These are so fun to look back at. I saved all of these just because for me, like it has such a special place in my heart. Like I would do this again. And now I can help the girls. Like they have their weekly classes and I'll sit down with them and go over all their scene work and we'll dive into the scene. Oh, Mean Girls 2. I auditioned for Mean Girls 2. And I remember the casting director was like, you're not mean enough, you need to be meaner. And so for the callback, I was like, got super mean. If I didn't get the role though still, but I remember like trying to channel my inner mean girl, and that was fun. I always played the mean girl or like a cheerleader a lot, I think because I had on my resume that I could tumble because I was like really good at gymnastics. Oh my gosh. I was really bad at knowing like a lot of actors' names, and my mom was like, you need to know people in the industry. So if people ask you in the audition, like who do you look up to as an actor, you know their names. And so my mom one time printed out every big actor. I still have them in here. It looks like I got water damage. But she was printing out all the big actors and then she was making me memorize who their names were and stuff just so I could be educated. She'd print out the things for me all the time to learn about like production and how production works and who's an AD and what does an AD do and stuff like that. Like she would make me learn it all, so when I was on set I didn't look dumb. And I'm glad she did that. She helped me really know the whole industry. So before I did all the acting stuff, I was like heavily involved in modeling. So I saved this for years and I never showed it to anybody, but I'm just gonna show some of them to you guys. When I did modeling as a kid, like it was so fun for me. I remember just like being pulled out of class. Like my entire elementary school, I would just leave school and just go on set all day long, and I would bring my packet and I would work with a studio teacher, and I'd had so much fun on set. Like my highlight of my life was being on set for all my modeling jobs. And I wanted the girls to do it too, and they were a little bit, but now we live in Utah, they don't do a lot of it. And I've showed some of you guys some of these on my Instagram actually. I think you guys say that I look a lot like the girls. So let's look at some of them. Fun fact, I was actually the first human on a Disney catalog ever. They only had animation on Disney catalogs. So I was the first human on a Disney catalog. These were all Disney. I remember like when they would dress me up, I thought I was so cool, like in their outfits. I wanted to keep everything they would put me in, and I just wanted to be there all day long. And I loved these. Oh, here's the cool story of how it all started. When I was 4 years old, my mom got this letter in the mail, like it was in a catalog. Oh, Storybook Heirlooms. My mom would buy all of our dresses from this company called Storybook Heirlooms. Well, they sent out on their cover, they said, hey, we're looking for the new Storybook Heirlooms cover girl. So send in your kids' pictures and we're gonna choose somebody. So they got entries from around the whole country, right? All these people sending in their kids' photos. Well, they chose mine. My mom forgot about it. A month later, she opens her front door and there's this big bouquet of roses on the doorstep and it says, congratulations, your daughter won. So they flew me up to San Francisco to be on the cover of the Storybook Heirlooms picture, and let me show it to you. And I was 4 years old, and that is when I met Savannah, because Savannah lived up there and she was the storybook girl. Let me see. Before that, is it even in here? Here's one of the covers, but that wasn't the one I won. Oh, so that's where the story goes, I'll show you that in a second actually. Okay, so this was the page that I won to be the storybook winner. And look at Storybook's doll Savannah. They had a Savannah doll in that same book. This is when I met Savannah because she was already modeling for Storybook up in San Francisco. And they loved me so much that they kept flying me back for years to be in all of their catalogs up until I was like 12 years old. I just modeled for them all the time. So I'd fly up to San Francisco with my mom, and it was so much fun, and we'd go shoot up there. So there's where I have all the storybook pictures. So there's me and Savannah, and I would shoot I remember the set was so cool because I'd go into the set and they'd have a pretend backdrop that looked like sky, and they had real sand in there that the set designer would bring in. We got to play in the sand, like for real. This is baby Lulu that I would do. This is just a headshot. I don't even know what catalog this one is for. Maybe this was Storybook. Here's Storybook. I remember still in this picture, I thought that dress was itchy. And I can tell I'm like hunching my shoulders up. I still remember. I have so many memories from it, but I thought I was always like so cute in all the dresses. Like I loved them dressing me up. Some of the funniest things was they would always shoot winter and summer and winter. So I would always be in like these winter outfits in the middle of the hot sun, and I would shoot bathing suits in the ocean while it was wintertime, freezing. So here is some more covers I did for Storybook. More Storybook. This is when I got a little older. This was actually for, I forgot what that one was for. That was baby Lulu. This was Plum Pudding. This was Disney Lizzie McGuire outfits. I just remember Lizzie McGuire. More Plum Pudding, Land's End. This is when I was older. Obviously, you guys can see that. Land's End, Land's End. Land's End was like my favorite. I did Land's End for years. I just remember like they just kept booking me all the time. Oh, this is Shelby. Okay, so she was the one that was just in that show Lincoln Heights that I just showed you. So we used to model together, and then we also were on that TV show together, Lincoln Heights. Okay, who remembers Limited 2? This is Limited 2. That's where I used to shop when I was a kid. There is another, okay, this was the first cover of Disney catalog that ever had a human on it. So they only used to do animation, and then they had me, that was the first cover ever that they had me do. And then I used to do Barbie boxes and makeup boxes. So my mom would scan them in the scanner, and so that's what this is. It's like a little makeup Barbie box. When I would go to Target, I would show up to Target and I would see myself on the boxes down the aisles of the toy aisle. And I shoot for Mattel all the time, which is so funny because I used to show up to Mattel's warehouse, get all dolled up, I would shoot with their Barbies. And now it's so funny because now Mattel books us and our girls to shoot with Barbies 30 years later or whatever it was. Like, it's so crazy that I've like worked for them since I was 4 years old. It's just, it's so cute. Like everything, I just love this life. I love all the entertainment stuff. I would just do this forever. I remember this baby doll was my favorite, one of my favorite things I ever did because she like would grow up and walk. My favorite. Oh, the girl said that looks like Halston when I showed it to them.
It's insane. I think it looks like Oakley, but.
I think it looks like Oakley.
The eyes. Wow.
So my mom would tell me funny stories because she says that I had the personality where I would like show up to the auditions and I would be kind of like quiet looking, and always they would be like, I don't know if she's gonna perform. I don't know if Madison's gonna get this. And then she said I would just like turn it on. Like I would just turn it on and I would be like a professional as soon as the camera went on. And then as soon as the camera stopped, I'd be like, serious again. And I sometimes see that in the girls, like they are natural performers. Like I've heard it from everybody, their acting coaches, like everything. Every time we film, like I could just see it. They turn on their natural performance, and then as soon as the camera was off, they're like just normal kids again. A couple more things to add. I forgot to show you guys. Okay, Jumpstart second grade. This one was my favorite because this is the game I used to play all the time. Where are my 90s people at? If you guys are born in the 90s and you didn't play Jumpstart second grade, then what were you even doing as a kid? Because this was like my whole childhood. According to my mom, this was my first job ever for Hannah Anderson, or no, Warner Brothers. This is my first job ever for Warner Brothers, my Tweety Bird shirt. Yeah, I was already in modeling before Storybook. I was already with an agent, Ford Models, or Colleen Claire, one of the two. I was with both those agencies. Anyhow. My mom said I had so many times where it was just like a disaster. So I remember trolling the studio teachers. Tatum and Oakley are very much like this too. They like to troll people and prank people. So I remember like being on set and I would just grab her stuff out of her thing and bug her all day long. There was this one time where they had like the Cabbage Patch doll. I was shooting a Cabbage Patch doll at it and they fixed the Cabbage Patch doll's hair, and you're not allowed to move. You can't move because they have to make sure the doll's perfect. They fixed the doll's outfit, everything's perfect, and right before they pushed the camera button, I started punching the doll's face and messed up the whole thing. And back then it was different because now they've got digital so they can see if they get the shot. Back then they'd have to like take the photo, hope that it was like right, because afterwards you have to wait and see something my mom said, like back then, like they can't see right on the spot, so they have to keep shooting it a bunch of times because they don't know if it's gonna be right there. It took a lot more effort back then. Another thing that they did is my mom said I was shooting a modeling job with this pretend mom, and we had these daisies, and I was supposed to be like holding the daisy in the mom's nose and stuff so she could smell it, and I shoved it in her face thinking it was funny, and the pollen stained her nose, and I guess the makeup artist was trying to get it off her nose for like 30 minutes and they couldn't get it off. The like red pollen over her nose. So my mom said I would just do stuff like that all the time. And she says you just never know. And that's how it is with kids on set, like you just never know. I remember when I took the girls to their first Jenny and Jack shoot, like I was so excited because I'm like, oh, this is my childhood, they're doing it too. And they were like running away and stuff, but their pictures turned out so cute. I wish they could still do modeling stuff, but we just live too far. As far as like acting goes now, my goal is like we have a production company, obviously Yeehaw Films, and we have some fun films coming up. And I've acted in a few of them, but when I look back at like all of this stuff, like I really do miss it because it's my favorite thing ever. And I kind of just want to be part of something that has to do with the entertainment industry my whole life until I die. Like whether it's producing something, directing something, acting in something still, helping the girls on set if they're acting. If I could live on set all day, I would. That's just like my favorite thing ever. And I just hope we can continue to do stuff. I mean, the girls are with the same agency I was with as a kid right now. They're with Osbrink. Maybe I could do an episode on like how to get into all of that if you guys are interested, because I know the world really well, and if I know a lot of you reach out about like getting your kids involved in like modeling or acting or things, I could totally teach you about it. But as of now, I'm taking all of my skills and my love for acting and just like helping in any way I can with the girls, with their stuff, and they are finding a passion for it, and it is like melting my heart because it's like my favorite thing ever. And I wish I did more of it at a young age. My only regrets are that I didn't start till I was 11 or 12. Like I wish so badly. My mom started me when I was like 4 or 5 in the acting world, and that I had that whole resume and like TV shows and movies already like there when I was like 5 or 6 or 7. Like that would have been so fun. I'm still gonna do it. Maybe I'm just gonna move back to LA and just jump right back in. What do you think, Kyler?
I'm down, man. I love it. I'm an actor too.
It's cool. One last story about what's really funny is I was auditioning for Riverdale and I was pregnant with the twins. And I knew I was pregnant with I was pregnant with Halston. The twins were Days of Our Lives. So I was actually up for Days of Our Lives for like a 3-year contract role. When you're up for the contract role and you get that far into it, it means you've already done like audition, they loved you, second audition, they loved you, third audition, they love you. Now you're going to test for networks. And what that means is like, they pick the top 3, you all show up on set, you actually film the episode for NBC. And NBC watches you on camera with the actors, so you actually go
ABC.
there. Was it ABC?
ABC is,
Days of Our Lives?
yeah, there's.
So I showed up there and they needed a brunette, and I wore a wig for all the auditions. My manager's like, you gotta dye your hair brown because they don't want anything holding you back. They actually, the dad was Latino and they wanted me to kind of pull that off if I could as like a mix. And when my hair is like super dark, I kind of feel like I could be a mix a little bit. And so I actually went and dyed my hair that night, like super dark brown. And I went to the audition, and while I was there, I was like, the whole time I'm like, I'm pregnant with twins. Like I've got to tell somebody, like if I book this, I've got to say something to someone. And I did it right before Christmas break. I did the whole testing, and the casting director, Marnie, I love her so much. We've have like a bond throughout the years because I've auditioned for Days of Our Life so many times, and the girls were on the show too for a year. But she was afterwards emailed me and she's like, your take was so good, so real, so raw, like everything about it was perfect. Like if you don't book this, I'd be surprised. And I was like, wow, that's a big compliment. So the whole winter break, I'm thinking, I'm gonna book this and I'm pregnant with twins. How am I gonna tell them? So I had to email her and I'm like, listen, I'm pregnant with twins and I didn't tell you and I feel really bad. And she says, you know what? It's your lucky day. Look, it's not really lucky, I guess. She says, but they're actually dropping the role. They didn't even pick up that role. No one got the part, nobody. They didn't even air it. No one, they just changed their mind, the writer. Which makes me a little sad, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I was pregnant, like what were they gonna do? Hide it for 2-3 years? like behind a box, like as I'm doing my lines. I don't know. There has been a lot of fun opportunities in this, and if anything, like it's not always about like the finished project that I'm showing you, it's about the growth of it all. Like some of my favorite things wasn't even being on set, actually filming the real thing that I booked. It was about the audition process or showing up or working on the lines in the class or with the teachers. One last thing that was cool was I booked this Disney movie called Magic Amp, and I was like the bride with Adam Divine, and I was supposed to be in the cab with him, and we actually filmed it. I did like a whole scene with him in this cab as a bride, and they cut the whole freaking scene out. But as we've come to be on the other side, we realized, okay, how many scenes did we film for our chapel movie that we cut out? Like sometimes it just doesn't make sense in the storyline, or they don't need it anymore. So I took it so offensive because I was always on the actor side, but as soon as we now have our own production company and I see how it works, it's like sometimes you just cut things, and it's not because it was necessarily bad, it's just because they don't need it. So I'm sad about that part because that would have been cool to have that. Anywho.
Yeah, you would have gotten your 7-cent checks for the rest of your life.
Yeah, oh yeah, so I did a movie when I was a kid for Jonas Brothers on Disney, and we still get like 7-cent checks in the mail because they'll send you residuals for life.
Sometimes they're bigger. I got like a $250 check recently.
Like recently?
Yeah, it was random. Must have done a pretty good run or something.
20 years ago or something. So maybe they were like playing it again or something, I don't know.
What a fun life you've had.
It's been fun, I love it. Oh, I have a really, really cute idea. I thought it'd be super fun to take some of these pictures from my modeling stuff and have the girls recreate them, because my mom has saved a lot of the outfits. So how cute would it be if they have to pose exactly the same? We set up the whole set, Kyler, and they have to reenact them. Okay, well, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for being here for all of my acting, modeling thoughts. Yeah, thanks for being here for all these experiences. I love you guys. Keep making a difference. Let me know what you guys want to see on my YouTube channel. I just thought this would be cool. I want to make more videos, so let me know what you want to see in the comments. And I will see you on the next video. Love you. Bye.